It's time to check your money with America's Money Maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Vicki, always good to see you. What you got up your sleeve today?
Oh, well, George, I've got lots of things up my sleeve today, but before we go too far into what that magic is going to be about concerning IRS, what I want to encourage and remind everyone of is the fact that February 25th is coming up as far as our 16th annual Jazz and Arts Cabaret with the Central New York Jazz Foundation. Miss India Owens and the Cookout, that's the name of her group, will be performing there that evening at 4 p.m., opening the doors and starting the performance at 5 o'clock. If you haven't gotten tickets, I can say very, 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 very with a lot of confidence that if you don't get tickets probably in the next 6 or 7 days, you're not going to get tickets. Okay. Because my last look at the countdown was getting really, really thin. My staff told me that a couple of days ago. So make sure that when we finish today, that you go online and get your tickets, because we're going to have a wonderful time. And I don't want to get a whole lot of calls like I did last year, because I can't change the fact.
Right. I was calling you too, right?
You called me.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I was like, well, Vicki, what about it? But listen.
And I'm like, George, okay.
Now, I just want to say, I know you usually get a food sponsor, and I don't know if yes, okay. So you got that. I want you to don't mess with the food, okay?
Too late.
Don't mess with it. Listen, we like what we get there, okay?
Okay, all right.
All right.
I won't promise it will be exactly the same, but
it'll be very similar.
Very similar.
I guess I'm really talking about make sure there's my gumbo there. That's all I asked about.
Oh, you like the gumbo?
I like the gumbo.
You like the gumbo. Okay.
Right. We're gonna have the gumbo.
Yeah, I'll make sure. Okay. Well, George, I'm gonna go back and make sure I look at that list again and what we did last week as far as the gumbo is concerned. But what I will say is this, since you brought it up, thank you to Bill and Nancy Byrne for being our food catering sponsor for the last 4 years and again this year, because their generosity makes it possible for everyone to have a wonderful time and then keep their bellies full while we have a great performance there at the Jazz and Arts Festival for Black History Month. So, George, you know what?
What?
We are right next to the door of something really important that's about to happen.
What?
January 29th. January 29th is the tax filing kickoff date. Meaning
I knew that. You know why I knew that?
Okay?
I did. I heard it on one of these shows.
Okay. Well, I heard it too, and I said, you know what? I want to make sure everybody else pays attention, because January 29th is the first day that you can actually file your taxes for the 2023 filing date here in 2024. Here's the thing, though, that I also want to make everyone, kind of wake up to, because we've had several years of delays and changes and extensions in the cutoff date, meaning you have to have your taxes filed by X date. This year, it is April 15th, right on the nose, April 15th. There are no more extensions. There are no more changes in the filing date.
It's been a floating day.
It's been all over the map, over the last few years, So April 15th to file your returns, put it on your calendar. You can file as early as January 29th, but the cutoff date this year is April 15th. Now, if you, of course, need more time, you can file a request for an extension. You need to work with your tax preparer in order to do that. But again, as I always say, remember, this is not specific tax advice to you, but information that you should pay attention to and coordinate with your own personal tax preparer. Now, I read also an interesting article that Jackson Hewitt, Mark Stieber, who's the chief tax information officer there, posted, and that was this. In 2024, tax refunds could be larger than last year. I went like, that's kind of good news.
Yeah.
Because a lot of individuals were surprised last year In fact, they were shocked because of the expiration of many of the pandemic era federal benefits that were in place, that their tax refunds last year were actually smaller. And in a lot of cases, that was not welcome news to find out at the last minute when you filed your taxes that you are actually getting back less than you expected. But the good news may be, and I'm saying maybe, for some people that the refunds this year are going to be larger. In fact, potentially as high as an additional 10% this year, primarily because of, and listen to this, inflation. Because of inflation, what's happened is that the tax refunds have been, may have a higher payout because of raising of the brackets by 7.1%. As far as the adjustments are concerned. So there's a possibility that you might actually get a higher refund than you did last year. Now, so that's a good reason. Yes, George.
There's a good reason.
That's a good reason to go in earlier to speak with your tax preparer to be sure that you have all of your documentation in place so that they can thoroughly look at all of the credits and debits and all of the things that may be important to you. As far as increasing or possibly increasing your tax refund. You were about to ask?
Well, I mean, as a person who gives financial information, I mean, should people be getting refunds anyway? I mean,
well, George,
that's a whole other question, right?
That is a different subject. Okay?
That's a different subject, right? Because
because as you know, and I thank you for bringing it up. I have encouraged everyone over the years to try and zero out versus getting an actual large refund.
Right.
Because what you're basically doing is pre-funding your own refund, and that is money that could possibly be in your cash flow throughout the year. I won't say it's fallen on deaf ears because a lot of individuals are very nervous about underfunding and having to write a check versus getting the refund. But if you can, in working with your tax preparer, really look at some tax planning ahead of time so that you are getting the smallest refund possible, then that is the better option because you are increasing your cash flow throughout the year. All right. Thanks for bringing that up, George.
You're welcome. And the other piece, you mentioned the word inflation. And I know you had some advice for us that you said we should go to our employers or that we should increase our retirement contribution. I believe you said by about 3%. And I wanted to make sure I got that number right. Did I get that right?
You got the number right. Okay, about 3%. George, you've been listening. You're not just a pretty face. You've been listening over there. All right. Yes, I want you to increase your contribution by at least 3% this year to make sure that we're keeping up with what the inflation rate appears to be trending toward coming the next year and going forward. So the fact that inflation could actually benefit taxpayers this year is a surprise. But that's because, as I said earlier, IRS adjusted many of its provisions in 2023 for inflation, and they pushed the standard deduction to a more generous level and raising its tax brackets by 7%. That's a pretty large increase, okay, as far as the adjustments were concerned. And that may, in fact, create a little bit larger refund coming into this year.
And I have some more information for you.
Yeah,
you know how we've been saying the 29th? Can we just be more specific? Tomorrow, you can start filing.
Tomorrow, okay. Tomorrow, okay.
Tomorrow.
It's the 29th.
The 29th.
It's the first day that you can file your taxes
tomorrow.
For 2023. Yes, tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow. Okay, it's the day.
Tomorrow. Yes,
it's only a day away.
Wait. How would I do? It's only a day away.
Yes, it is. Okay, all right. So I hope these all of the tax preparers around town, the CPAs, accounting firms, and preparers are ready because I know with everyone who's listening, they're gonna get inundated tomorrow. Okay, with calls and requests to go ahead and get your taxes in earlier. All right, George. again, to everyone, I'm looking forward to seeing you in February for the 16th annual Black History Month Jazz and Arts Cabaret, sponsored by Brackens Financial Solutions Network in conjunction with the Syracuse Jazz and Arts Foundation, Central New York Jazz and Arts Foundation. Have you heard who this year's recipient is for the Community Service Award, George?
Breaking news, let's go.
Breaking news. This year's recipient is the Andrea Stewart Cousins, who is the Senate Majority Leader for the state of New York.
Out of Buffalo, New York.
Out of Buffalo, New York, okay? And she will be here, and we are glad to make that announcement and looking forward to seeing her and to hearing her when she accepts her award in February. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call at area code 315-930-4499. Like, share, and subscribe. Be sure and share and subscribe to this podcast and this video, and share it with everyone that you can. And if you, again, George, I will say at this point in time, our plate is full.
All right. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. She is America's money maven.